The number of COVID-19 cases continues to rise globally and right here in Guyana. Therefore, we encourage everyone to practice social distancing. Wear a mask if you have to leave your homes and wash your hands thoroughly and frequently as we all strive to stop the spread of the virus. Welcome to InfoHub for Wednesday, May 27. Thanks for joining us. President David Granger has expressed that Guyana's current electoral system could be re-examined and modified in the future once this current electoral process is over. Here's our first report.
The head of state made this disclosure during NCN's program Context on Monday evening.
Maybe sometime in the future there could be a re-examination of the process and maybe a modification of the process if it is found to be inadequate.
He reminded that proportional representation was introduced in December 1964 and that system has remained in place since then.
It is quite clear that the way we are going about elections now, the fact that we've waited several weeks for the result, is not necessarily the best. We have to look for a more efficient system after we get past this present situation that we're in now.
He added that the current problem has not been resolved because some parties still believe in a winner-takes-all formula.
To escape from this winner-takes-all system, we need to adopt inclusionary democracy, which our constitution calls for, and we need to instruct our supporters, educate our supporters to supporting this formula that you're talking about.
For InfoHub, Stacey Carmichael.
In oil news, as Guyana's oil and gas sector continues to grow and diversify, the Director of the Department of Energy, Dr. Mark Bino, says it is important to explore potential downstream activities. Here again is Stacey.
The energy head was at the time speaking on the National Communication Network's Independence Forum aired on Monday.
And one of the things that we are currently looking at is bringing gas to shore. In fact, we're not looking at it. It is well advanced. We have a draft memorandum of understanding. We have established a very cogent working group, and this is made up of critical players within the governmental, and we hope to engage the private sector as well, so that they can understand what the opportunities are.
He emphasized the need for private sector engagement as it is important to create an environment for investments to be made.
What I'd like to say, Enrico, is that first and foremost, we need to create the environment for those investments to be made. We are not here to select winners and losers. But if we can create the environment, the private sector of themselves will find those niches and will pursue those niches.
This disclosure comes days after Guyana had its second 1 million barrel of crude lifted from the Liza Destiny floating production storage and offloading FPSO vessel onto the oil tanker, a Bahamian flag carrier. For InfoHub, Stacey Carmichael.
Let's tell you now that Attorney General and Minister of Legal Affairs Basil Williams, Senior Counsel, says the Guyana Elections Commission has the authority to resolve all incidences of electoral fraud emanating from the ongoing national recount of votes cast at the March 2 general and regional elections.
The Attorney General responded Monday to claims by opposition member Anil Nandlal, who, along with other opposition officials, has been pushing the narrative that the probing of the electoral irregularities was outside of the remit of GCOM, and that the many objections being made by government counting agents are suited only for an elections petition. Citing the Commission's National Recount Order, A.G. Williams maintained that the provisions empower GCOM to not only count the ballots, but also examine irregularities, discrepancies, and anomalies to decide on the credibility or lack thereof of the March 2 polls. The order also provides for the use of the observations report form to record any observation outside of the ballot box checklist, and under paragraph 12, the Chief Elections Officer, after tabulating the matrices of all electoral districts, to submit a report which includes the observation reports and the matrices of the ballot for each district to the Commission. Quote, "This shows a clear dichotomy between the ballot count and observations being made during the recount process, confirming that it is not about the ballot count alone." Unquote. GCOM's chair, Justice Retired Claudette Singh, has already requested from the APNU AFC coalition evidence of the objections being made in the observation report. The government said it has evidence to support its objections over the names of deceased persons and persons who were overseas on March 2 turning up to cast their ballots. According to A.G. Williams, GCOM is well equipped with a chairman who is qualified to adjudicate in these matters. Former Director General of the Ministry of the Presidency, Joseph Harmon, has already outlined that over 86,000 votes have been severely affected from attempts at electoral fraud by the opposition. For InfoHub, Alexis Rodney.
More news after the break. Stay with us.
This is Tamika with a message from my people. We don't know when COVID-19 will go, so for now better stay at home. Oh, we don't know, so let we try and cope. Sanitize or use a soap. Oh, I won't stop and don't you stop. Responsibility is what you've got to self-preserve the health you've got. Good hygiene we need to all adopt. I won't stop, don't you stop. Stay away from crowds cause it's way too packed. We all should stay 3 feet away, and in time we make this virus stop.
This is a message from Tamika Marshall and the Ministry of Public Health in collaboration with PAHO, WHO.
Welcome back. Guyanese who have been unable to return home due to COVID-19 and the closure of international borders must make their application online to the relevant authorities. Details from Isaiah Braffett.
The application form can be found on the Ministry of Foreign Affairs website. After submission of the applications, persons will receive confirmation of receipt of the application and confirmation of an intended date of travel. However, persons are being asked not to make any travel arrangements without approval from the government. Completion of the form by individuals indicates that those persons have agreed with all the requirements for re-entry. All approvals for re-entry will be done in phases in a manner deemed appropriate by the Ministry of Public Health. Further, persons entering Guyana will have to follow protocols established by the Ministry of Public Health. Guyanese nationals will be screened and tested for the coronavirus upon re-entry. Persons will also be quarantined for 2 weeks either at a public quarantine facility or a private facility designated by the ministry. Those private facilities are Baracara Hotel and Brandsville Apartments. It is important to note that all services provided by the public facilities are free. Those who wish to be housed at a private facility will have to stand the expenses. The protocols are deemed necessary to slow the spread of the virus, as Guyana has 139 cases of the coronavirus, coupled with 11 deaths and 62 recoveries as of May 26. Isaiah Braffett for InfoHub.
Good news for small farmers. The Agriculture Ministry will soon be distributing non-cash grants to small-scale farmers throughout Guyana to offset the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic. Kellon Rover tells us more.
Chief Technical Officer George Jarvis said the assistance will be awarded to individuals based on a need analysis conducted by extension officers assigned to the various districts.
This is not a cash giveaway. This is based on the observed needs and the needs that the farmers themselves would have expressed that they have. We will be lending support in that regard.
According to Jarvis, the objective is to increase the productivity of farmers.
We want to help not just for planting materials and the like stuff, but we also want to explore some new things. And in the case of regions 9 and 1, we're pushing the black giant poultry, which is like a very enhanced Creole fowl, if you like, in the sense that it grazes, so you don't have to fetch in by the starter, by the grower, by the finisher. We gave it a start with some of that kind of feed, and after that, the board fends with itself, and it gives you eggs as well as meat. We have that project running already in Region 9 especially, and it is showing very, very good returns. And the idea is to expand that as far as possible.
Due to the impact of COVID-19, the Agriculture Ministry is currently working to establish 4 components: assistance to small farmers within vulnerable communities, kitchen garden support to the vulnerable public servants and community households, small farms support package, and the livestock initiative. The ministry is aiming to target approximately 4,000 individuals across Guyana. However, Jarvis noted that the amount may increase, especially since the ministry is tasked with reaching out to migrants in Region 1.
Let me make the point very clear that we are awaiting support from our donor partners in giving us permission to utilize funds that are available in the current loans we have.
In the meantime, the Chief Technical Officer said field workers are out daily gathering the necessary data to determine who qualify for assistance. For InfoHub, I am Kellon Rover.
Remember to do your part to ensure that you do not put yourself at risk during this time. If you have a cough, fever, or difficulty breathing, please seek medical care early, but call that hotline first. That's all for today. Connect with us on our social media platforms, including WhatsApp, Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram, as we bring you the latest and important news related to COVID-19 and much more. You can also subscribe to our website, dpi.gov.gy. Your Bridge Report is up next. Goodbye for now.